Hey everyone, this video is to help you start building assignments for your students in Edgenuity. These assignments are specifically going to be built on the curriculum that we use. So let's get started. Uh, to access your Edgenuity, you're going to want to go through your Clever. So from your homepage, if you will go up here by your address bar, you should see a blue square with a white C that would represent your Clever. Once this Clever comes up, we're going to be looking for the red icon that says Edgenuity Pathblazer. If you've been to this recently or it's a frequent website that you visit, it might be up here under your favorites. If not, that's fine. Just keep scrolling. Down here at the bottom, you'll see one in education. There, it should be located under that section. Once you click on the icon, it will begin to load your Edgenuity. This is, again, the only way you can get to your Edgenuity. You cannot just go through Edgenuity through Google. You're going to have to go through your Clever. This video is assuming that you already have your students built. You already have your classes built with your students in them. If you have not done that, there's another video back on the website that would allow you to learn how to do that. So assuming we have our classes built with our students in it, we're going to jump right into courses and assignments. We're going to actually be building the assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to Assignment Builder. Now what you see here is you see the first tabs you see are Curriculum, and here you see Assignment. Okay. Make sure if for some reason it's not on Curriculum that you put it on Curriculum. If you have used this before or have used it recently, and you're in the middle of building an assignment, there's a possibility it might be there, but make sure that you get it back over on Curriculum. The next set of tabs you see is the Odyssey curriculum that's built within Edgenuity. You see Explorer, Math Interventions, very good resource. I'm going to make a video about that later on. You have your NWEA, again, very good resource. That's all based on your map testing. And then you have your Common Core, which are your standards. And that's what we're going to work from today. So go ahead and click on Common Core. And then you can decide, or if you're doing language arts or you're doing math, right? And so I'm more familiar with math, so we're going to jump right into math. As soon as I click math, you see as a K-5 teacher, being in a K-5 building, I specifically teach fifth grade. But then it gives me access to K through 6, and it gives me access to all of those standards. So if I had a group of kids that I needed to assign a third grade skill to, I could click on third grade, and it's going to bring up all of the third grade standards, right? But for the sake of, I need this to teach them, and I need them to show if they know it as a fifth grader on a fifth grade standard, then I'm going to work from the fifth grade standards. So with that being said, I now have all of my fifth grade standards listed over here. And I can decide whatever I'm needing to teach next, right? So if I were to be going into my geometry unit, I could go to 5GA1, and I'm going to click on that. Okay. And the first thing you see here is kind of like the objective, or like what that standard actually says. So for geometry, 5GA1, they're going to graph points on a coordinate plane to solve real world and mathematical problems. And they're going to use a pair of perpendicular lines called axis to define a coordinate system with the intersection of the lines, the origin, arranged to coincide. So it gives you kind of a layout of the standard, right? And then underneath it, you see the activities that go along with it. So for this particular standard on Edgenuity, there are 2 different lessons. There's instruction and there's practice. The first one is plotting the ordered pairs. The second one is writing the ordered pairs. Once they're done with those 2, then they can take a quiz. Okay. You can decide what you want them to do. They could do just the first one, right? And you would select that box. They could do just the second one, and you could select that box. I would prefer most of the time for them to do the instruction and practice and then also show what they learned through taking the lesson quiz. So I select all 3. Okay. Once I select all three, I want them to do all three tasks or all three activities. I'm going to do add selected task down here at the bottom. So I'm going to click that. Now it brings up this next page. Now you notice here it's switched over to the assignment tab because now we're talking about a specific assignment. Okay, the first thing we need to do is name this assignment, right? So right now it's untitled. So right now I probably would want to call this ordered pairs because that's what the kids are going to be working on. I probably wouldn't name it so general like geometry because there's a possibility that there's another geometry standard that you're going to want to cover and you're going to want to name it something different. Otherwise, it's not going to let you make another assignment. So you don't have to be too totally specific, but make sure that it's not something that you could possibly make another assignment for. Good. So when you changed the title here, what you should have noticed is over here in the assignment outline, it should have also changed the title. So making sure that your assignment is titled and good to go. The next thing we want to look at is the order, right? So these tasks are all going to be thrown into a folder, okay? And the default option in Edgenuity is for the student to be able to self-select. So if the student self-selects, it means that they can do these in any order they want to. If they even wanted to start with the quiz, they could start with the quiz. They could literally go into the folder and just click on any of the activities that are available to them. Okay. I would prefer them to be what's called sequential. So I'm going to click on sequential. And if they're sequential, then they're going to have to go in the order they're assigned. So if you notice here in these boxes, it's 1, 2, and 3. So they're going to go in that order. Okay, if I wanted to change that order, I could, but whatever order I set in these boxes is now the order it's going to occur if I have it clicked sequential. Okay. So now what will happen is when they go in, they will see the folder that would say ordered pairs, and they'll click on that folder and they'll start their activities. Now, if that's how I wanted to leave it, that's perfectly fine. I would select all three boxes, and I'm going to click complete assignment, and I would be ready to go on and finish that assignment and go ahead and assign it to kids. But I'm not going to do that yet because there is a feature. It's not new. I was about to say new, not new, that you can do. Okay. So as long as it's sequential, you notice that I unchecked these first two boxes because right now all I'm worried about is the quiz. Okay. So they do their instruction, they do their practice, both lessons are done, they get to the quiz. Okay. Well, I want to do what's called adding a decision point. So right here, you'll see it says add decision point. So I'm going to click that. Now, the importance of this decision point is if they do not meet mastery on the quiz, I can direct them where they go to next. So here it's set at a 70, okay? I know that for us, a lot of times we consider mastery 80%. So I can change that to 80. The default's just going to be 70, okay? So let's say mastery score of 80. So if they meet it, then what happens? They would continue to the next activity or they could just exit the folder. Okay. Either way, they can have access to whatever you want them to do next. I typically just leave this as continue to next activity. Now, here's the thing that's not automatically checked for you, but a very good tool. So what happens if they do not meet 80%? Well, I'm going to check that because if they don't meet it, I want them to do something again, and I get to make that choice. Okay. So if they don't meet it again, I could send them right back to the quiz and just make them retake the quiz. Or if I click the drop down, I can send them back to whichever practice or instruction I want to, right? Now, keep in mind this is sequential, so whatever I send them back to, you're going to want to send them back to the first thing they did because then they're going to have to do it in order again, right? So from the assignment tab, if you want to, I believe you can move this over, right? So the first thing they did was plotting ordered pairs. Well, if I have that sequentially set up, they're going to have to do all three of those things again. So I'm going to click on plotting ordered pairs because if they don't meet the 80%, I want them to go learn it again, right? So I'm going to send them to the instruction and practice again, plotting ordered pairs. And then if it's sequentially set up, they should have to do plotting, writing, and then take the quiz again. You can choose for them to do that cycle up to 4 times if you want. Not necessary. It's just however many chances you want to give them, I guess. I typically just give them one more time, right? And so I'm just going to save that decision point. And so now what you see is here beside the quiz, there's now a decision point that's been made, and it's going to take them back to where this arrow has now been placed. That's the target. Okay. So if I don't get an 80 on my quiz, I'm going back to the original practice. And like I said, you can have them just go back and retake the quiz. I prefer for them to go back and learn some more. Okay. So once my decision point is made, I'm going to select all 3 tasks, and I'm going to complete the assignment. Now, what you have here is kind of the final step. So it says the assignment name is what I named it, ordered pairs. Okay. The assignment order, you can add a description if you want. The assignment order, I've already made it sequential. Okay. Now, something you have to do right here where it says solution, you have to choose if it's reading or math. Okay. If you don't do that, it's not going to let you continue. So I'm going to choose math because this is going to be a math lesson. Now, the next thing we do here, I don't know if there's really a rhyme or reason to it, but when sitting through training on this, they said to make sure that every student has access to everything they would possibly need. This is the order of all of these yeses and nos. Okay. They said to make sure that each student has access to everything they need. We want it to be yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. Okay. I can't explain to you what every little one of those things means or what it does. I just know that when I did training on this, they said if you do this order, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, every time, and you just get in that habit of doing that order, then the kids will have everything they need when they get to the folder. Okay, so again, one more time, that order is yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. So if you are just like mass building assignments right now and you're not like actually assigning them, then you would probably want to click no, I'll assign later, and then you would click next. Okay. If you are ready to assign them and you're ready to push them out to students, I'm going to click yes. Okay. So once I do that, the classes that I already have built is what will come up next. Okay. So now, cool thing here is I could just click all these classes, boom, 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 and it's going to assign it to every kid in those classes. Okay. But maybe I'm building an assignment that I really only need these students that are in Miss Earl's homeroom to do this assignment. So I could hit the little drop down, the little plus, and it's going to drop and show me all of the students that I have put into Miss Earl's class. Okay. Once I do that, I can then just select what students are going to get that assignment. Okay. So it can be whole group class, it can be small group, it could even be individual. Like if I want just this student to do that assignment, right? Then I could just select that, which would come in handy a lot if I'm trying to assign math interventions or maybe some language arts extensions, whatever it might be. Okay. Now, for the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and assign it to the Ford example that I made in my other video and only put 3 students in. I'm just going to assign it to the whole class, so I'm going to select that class and I'm going to say finish. Okay, so now I have my assignment. If I clicked for it to be sent to my students, boom, I hit next and it's going to send to the students. So This is my assignment confirmation. I created it on 3/19.